Hello everybody, how's it going? I'll start a few minutes earlier to make sure all is well. Hope everybody can hear just fine. We got Twitch, YouTube, and Steam as well as Facebook being streamed to live. Hope the audio quality is good and everything's fine. Just let me know if anything is off. And hope you are having a wonderful Thursday. It's the 10th of June. We're already in June. The past months have flown by. We're gathered here actually on a nice occasion. There is a big publisher sale that's about to happen. So the Fellow Traveler publisher sale is going live right at this minute. Suzerain will be discounted off for the first time at 25%. Yeah, so we're very excited to be with Fellow Traveler at this point. And yeah, we also wanted to do a live question and answer while we're at it. So the community did send us a couple of questions, and I'm gonna go through those as well as answer any questions you have live. So please, feel free to ask away and all that stuff. So another big news is that we are bundling up with Yester Grace and the Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte. It's going to be a bundle with all the 3 games together at a discount. And that's also going live right now. And as you can tell, these games are in similar vein in some aspects. So I hope you take a look at that bundle and hope you enjoy that. Yeah, I guess if everything's greenlit, we can kick things off. So I'll start with the most prominent questions and kind of talk about what we've been up to recently and kind of feedback the questions, so go back and forth, because we do have quite a few questions, but obviously we don't have hundreds of questions. I'll start with one of the most prominent one we're getting through emails and also all around our forums and communication platforms, and that is about localization. Now, localization is a subject that is very costly and complicated to do for our studio due to the fact that Suzerain has more than 450k words, and we're a small studio with that bandwidth, with that many words. Not only is it very costly, it also is very resource intensive because you need to oversee it. I have a background in translation. I studied simultaneous interpretation and translation, so I know how important it is to get the feeling of a language, the literature, the culture from one to the other. So that process needs to be needs some oversight, and that means extra stuff. Also, there are some technical challenges to it. So that is why localization, sadly, right now is not on the pipeline, and not in the pipeline. And we want to do it, but it's currently not feasible for us. We understand that, and we agree that we should spread this game as much as we can, but there are certain realities. Just wanted to get that out there. But thank you for your passion. Thank you for the countless emails and really wanting this in your language. That matters to us because you want to share this experience with people who can't access the language it is available in right now, which is English. So which is, yeah, a perfectly okay scenario. Sadly, not the ideal scenario, but it's a valid reason from you. So we take that feedback and knowledge very well. So moving on, there are a couple of other questions that keep popping up. So we recently released a monthly report, and in this monthly report we talked about some latest developments. And in these developments, besides like all the good stuff, like, you know, us hitting 2,000 reviews, and we got nominated for the Games for Change Award, which is like this very important festival for our type of game, about like games that have social impact. And Irene joining us for marketing support and helping us with our social media and stuff like that. Aside from all that, we shared some screenshots of some stuff that we're like working on. And it's meant to be a tease, obviously, just to let you all know, because this is another pressing thing that I've noticed that a lot of people have been asking about, like, what is this team doing? What are they up to? We are, as mentioned in the report, working on 2 things at the same time. Like, one of the stuff that we've shared some images from, and the other thing is completely hidden right now. It's like not known, but very early stages. And it will take a long time to get somewhere where we can feel comfortable sharing it. And it's a process. It's a long process to make games. Like making Suzerain took us years and years and years. So understandably, a lot of these development processes take time. Yeah. So we are working hard. We're working a lot in the background. It's just that we can't share a lot right now, and there's actually not much point in sharing stuff, because it's not at a state where we're proud, like where we can be proud of what we're doing, or like where you can also understand and get a feel for it and give actual feedback. It has to reach that state yet. So once it does reach that, we'll share stuff. We followed a similar approach with Suzerain. We actually shared Suzerain early on as well, and we will try to like keep to that same style, have early feedback, but obviously we need to go over some steps before we get there. So yeah, we're working hard. Don't worry, we're not off at the Cayman Islands or something. Everything's continuing with similar intensity. Yeah, so keep an eye on all of our socials and stuff for more updates. And yeah, subscribe to the MailChimp newsletter if you're just checking once a while. We send the reports out from there, and our Discord community is huge and amazing. So hop in on that Discord community and even roleplay as some of the party members do, or just, you know, stay there for some updates. I'll continue with the other questions. Are you going to work on Suzerain anymore, or will you make a sequel of this game? No. This actually ties into like one of the other very popular question, is like a second term DLC and a sequel basically as well. So there are some complexities regarding a sequel. Now, as you know, Suzerain has like hundreds of decisions and 9 main endings and these 25 sub endings with different variations and all this stuff. Now, this reflects your, like, the choices you make as a player. It does a good enough job where like you feel like all these choices kind of like come together, and this is your Anton's story, right? This is like everything that accumulated throughout your gameplay experience, and now this is what you're getting. This is the experience you're feeling. When we have this much variation, any second term or 2 of this game is 10 or 20 times more complex, because it's either we accommodate for everything or we just pick a canon ending and move from there. There are other subjects as well that are related to the team that add additional complexity on this. So we are not going to do a second term DLC right now. And for now, that's not in the plans because it's production-wise very complex. We cannot guarantee we're going to make the same impact, and it's not even in our budget right now to be able to do so, because it would be like a 4 times larger project because of the amount of variation. And if we pick a canon ending, the other problem is what happens if that's not your ending. And then making a sequel on that topic means that you need to add something substantial to something. So something where you can see a clear improvement from 1 to 2. and it's still the core experience, but better, improved, and with new stuff. And that means something completely different, with new complexities. So for now, we're not planning any second term or Suzerain 2. We're still adjusting to the post-release stuff, and we're still doing these two things. And we will take our time a bit more with deciding. And we're working on some stuff behind the scenes. Now, the thing I want to say here, though, is that we created this universe, and we love this universe. This is our IP as a company, and we are not going to let it go that easily. So while it might not be how you think it will be, like a second term or whatever, it's very likely that we're advancing within the direction of this universe, because first off, it took years to build. Took so much love and effort and research to make it believable. We don't want to throw all of this away, and we love it. Like, we really enjoy this place. We lived in it for 3.5, 4 years, so it's not easy to let go. And there are some strengths to it, there are some weaknesses to it, and there are so many gaps that we want to fill. So yeah, don't worry, we're doing our best to stay in this ballpark and stick close to our identity and what we're trying to do. Yeah, so that answers a couple of those big questions. So I'll, after those complicated ones, I'll go to is Surge best boy, which is probably K-Trill, one of our moderators. I guess yes, because like nobody can say no to Surge. So yeah, Surge is the best boy. You got this. Moving on. And there's like two of the same question. And will Suzerain ever get traded? So will Suzerain ever get trading cards? You mean like Steam, I guess. So we wanna there are a couple of side things that we wanna also push out within this year. It really depends, but we're aiming to do all these side things like trading cards and stuff in the future. We're not gonna commit right now, but these are all like things that we're gonna get to in time. There's a technical question, actually. How did you settle on using R2C to chart your storyline, and what was your process for fleshing out the story? How did you fill plot holes, and was R2C a useful tool for doing so? I'm a novice writer and would like your insight. Thank you. That's a good one. R2C was a key enabler of our project. So we started with R2C, well, before R2C, we started with the dialogue, Pixel Crusher's dialogue system, which was like a very basic tool, but it was like technically very capable, but not really easy to write in. Then we moved to R2C2, and R2C2 was a single owner version where that we used was like one person that could only edit, but it helped us visually script stuff much better. And then we made the step to R2C3 and like started like getting a lot of writers at the same time, producing content, reviewing stuff. Fleshing out the story was a very natural process. I would say it was very like dynamic and reactive, and it developed naturally. We had like overall plans, but a lot of the stuff just like kept coming as it went forward. So yeah, I would say it was a very it was a mixed approach of some planning, but like a lot of reactive narrative design. And there were a lot of plot holes actually in the last 6 months of the development that we noticed. I would say like 4 or 5 big things that we all connected and interlinked with other storylines and stuff. So that was a very difficult process to connect stuff and like make sure it makes sense and stuff. There's still one thing that we didn't close, which is the which is not ideal. It still works, but it's not ideal. It's the assembly impeachment. That's one hole that we could not close, and which we hope to mend in the future if we can. But there were a lot of funny things as well. Like you could actually silence all the factions in a certain path, which was way too overpowered. So we made artificial limitations, so you wouldn't be able to, like, because it wouldn't make sense with the power you had. Yeah, so stuff like that. And yeah, RTC was a very useful tool for keeping track of all the variables and keeping track of design and the characters and all that stuff. So I can only praise RTC. Very nice from them to make a tool like that for games. And there are some more questions, but also I'll drop some side news. The team here in Berlin, we're gonna go to Sweden tomorrow, actually. We're going to a game collective called Spelkollektivet, which is an indie collective of game developers, basically like 50-60 game devs at this complex in South Sweden in the middle of nature. And we're going there to like think differently and like interact with other game developers to like get some new ideas and stuff. So it's gonna be an interesting journey. We're gonna share some pictures from there on the monthly reports. There's gonna be some neat stuff. There might be live streams from their Twitch accounts that they have there, and just so you know that we're gonna be in another place. We're trying to get a different mindset. Yeah. So I answered the DLC and Suzerain 2 questions. Yeah, DLC was it goes to the same point. Whatever DLC we add, it is since the game is structured in a very concise and packaged way right now. So whatever content you add, everything else needs to react to it. So it's either you add something that is like kind of outside of what exists, like, or parallel, and then design-wise it doesn't flow well because it's Anton's story, right? Or you make something completely separate, which feels like a different game, and that does not really like make something that exciting. We'd rather do something better and more exciting than, you know, just give you something just to give you something, right? And the point is that whatever steps we take from here, they are, in the grand scheme of things, also the best for everyone, including you guys. Yeah, very excited though. Like, we're very excited because we did not expect all of this to go this well, and it allows us to really plan things out and read what you all liked, read what you didn't like, and figure out a path forward where we can create stuff that is equally or even more exciting and higher quality. Yeah. Okay, some more stuff. Updates about Suzerain, so that's another big one. So due to these two projects right now, our resources are limited, but we do want to push another Suzerain update. The content of that is still not determined yet. There is a list that we want to get to. This will only be determined after we can dedicate the resources. So what I'm planning to do is, once we are at a point where we can, ask the community from a list where we pre-approve what they would like, because obviously we can't promise stuff that we can't deliver, and we want to be really careful with like promising stuff. So like, we rather under promise and over deliver. There's an industry there are some industry examples where it's the other way around, and we're in it for the long term. We want to build a very strong relationship with our community. Yeah, so we'd rather take it the safe and the long approach. Okay. If you could go to the bar with only one of Rain's advisors, who would it be and why? Okay, that's interesting. Who would it be? I would honestly go to the bar with Pascal. Yeah. Because for some reason, no, actually, I take it back. I'll go to the bar with David. I take it back. Yeah. I'll go. Yeah. It will be a nice time. Very chill, very humble, and friendly. A bit idealistic. But yeah. But my second option would be Pascal because I think he's kind of overlooked. Also has some good motives. Just not that many places to really enjoy the character and the story. And some characters are like that in our storyline. And that is another thing about game development. You cannot do everything the best way you can. Not every character can be amazing and stuff like that. A good example is like Gus, actually. Gus Manger was a character that we wanted to have a bit more later in the storyline, but then other things happened and stuff shifted. But it's still an interesting character and someone who offers something very unique. But yeah, David to the bar, talk about all the diplomatic trade talks that David accomplished. Talk about what happened to his father before Sol came to power. All the interesting stuff about the kingdom and how it fell. Some more questions. There are a lot. Can we expect any new characters to be added to Suzerain? More people to interact with? Yeah, so this goes back to adding content to the existing structure. As soon as we add a character, everything else needs to respond and it needs to make sense within the existing storyline, which is very complex. So it's not likely, is my answer here. But there are certain character portraits that are missing that I'd rather have in there. Yeah, but that's my answer to that. How's chat doing? I'll just type in. And also a bit of a brief news flash. We are working with Daniel, who recently joined us as a programmer. So welcome to the team, Daniel, and there will be a small introduction piece about Daniel soon on the Discord, and we'll share it around. But it's like very fresh news and breaking stuff. So I'll also send on Steam. Please send live questions and I can respond and react. Okay. And there was a question I actually saw here about, was it? Okay. Oh yeah. Somebody asked, do you have any plans for the Suzerain universe spin-off games, books, manuals, movies? So we want to stick to digital for now, for obvious reasons. We're a small team. Physical, it has extra logistical complexity. But talking about that, we actually are planning, we sent out a survey recently about merchandise. We are planning a move regarding merchandise soon. Nothing fully set in stone yet, so yeah, but we are planning on doing it. So and also somebody mentioned, is there any other way to support the development team? Except for buying the game right now, there is no other way. Merchandise will definitely be a way to support us, so definitely keep an eye on that if you want to back us up. Yeah, we're excited to kind of get into that. Obviously merchandise has extra complexities, but our recent marketing and community support, Irene, is here for many reasons, one of which is the merchandise project. So we'll see how it goes. We'll just keep you up to date. The survey is still out there. Yeah, check that out. And good point from Daniel, actually. There another way to support us is buying the presidential edition, or also directly purchasing the soundtrack. That helps us a lot. And with the soundtrack, actually, if you purchase the soundtrack, the majority of the income of the soundtrack goes to our composer, the profits, which is a very unique thing that we are experimenting with. Yeah, so please do get the soundtrack if you want to support us. Yeah. On one of the recent other news is that we put the game on the Epic Store, and that was a big step. We're also right now on sale on GOG as well for 25 off. Definitely have a look. Some of the Steam questions are a bit 18 plus, as I can see, so I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, James Spence is our composer on Suzerain. Very talented, absolutely amazed. I always enjoy working with James. Yeah, let me recap our team real quick. This is something that, like, in game development, I think matters a lot, but is overlooked. So we are a team of 7 who worked on Suzerain before this point. Now we have like 2 more people, so like a total 9. I'm Atta, the managing director of Torpor Games. Mainly did like production, design, writing, QA. I mean, it's an indie studio, so you do a bit of everything. Ilke did a lot of game design, a lot of writing, a lot of 2D stuff. Yeah, very amazing stuff from his end. Özgün is our programmer, did all the technical infrastructure and architecture, and yeah, built up all the systems, hooked everything up. Also did writing and narrative design, just like most of the core team did, because there was a lot to do in Suzerain. Then we have Ipek, who did the character art. She drew the character art and the portraits that you see in the game. She's very talented as well. Very happy to have worked with her on that stuff. We had James, as I told you, as our composer, James Spence. And then we had Tung, our intern last year. Did an amazing job with design support, Q&A, and even writing. Tung actually led the update on the 1.1 patch with the war branches, with a lot of support, but like mainly led that and did a good update on the more detailed war tactics. So it was a great experience for for everyone in the team. And yeah, so now we have Irene joining us for marketing, Irene Preuss joining us for marketing support, and Daniel for programming. And I think that is... Oh, we also have Rachel. We had Rachel as a freelance writer last year to support us on polishing the language and also writing content. And Rachel Glassberg was also a very amazing person to work with. Love the team. I wouldn't have done it with anybody else. These people were amazing. They still are. So I'm glad to be here with them. So, moving on. Yeah, you're free to ask any questions about the game, about our company. Please ask anything. We'll try to answer as much as we can. Feel very flexible, and yeah, and it's better to have a reactive dialogue anyway. So there's a big one here that's quite interesting, actually. Let me drink a bit more water for this one. So, is Torpor Games dominated by any one ideology, which may lead to a pure accident of malicious or intent-led biases? Now, this is like a good question, because This Suzerain was our first project. It's an indie game studio, and it's one of the most complicated things you can do. The reason is we basically approach politics as subjects that a lot of people see as incredibly divisive, something to not get into in games. And we approach something that is like very complex from a social standpoint, from a design standpoint, and all this stuff. And looking at the results, we seem to have achieved mostly a neutral perspective. And I'm happy with that because it kind of represents our approach to the subject. Our approach to the subject was about role-playing. And when you look at politics as a tool of role-playing, then you need to have different opinions, actions represented and provide an experience for you, regardless of what your own political thought is. And everybody has bias. This is the truth. But as a designer, or as like someone who works on a game that is this complex, your job is to really keep evaluating yourself and gathering different perspectives and opinions from around you, so you get a very realistic and clear picture of the product that you're building. And in Suzerain, I think we've achieved that as a team. The team inside has different opinions regarding politics as well. But we ended up building something that is gray. And we always set out to build something that was debatable in gray, where there were little to none black or white decisions or thoughts. And we really believe in this because games become really unique when they approach things in a very nuanced manner. It's very easy to say this is that or this is that, but to understand people, you need to approach it in a much more layered method. And that is what we tried to do, and it looks like we've achieved it because we had very positive feedback from academicians and people in politics and in other places as well. And our community, which is the most important part and which is the reason for our success, mostly agreed that we've done a good job. So I don't think we're dominated by one ideology. We're very interested in different thoughts and ideas. Okay. And okay, given Torpor Games is based in Germany, why was the game made in English and not in German? The point with Suzerain was to get into the human side of politics and put you in the position of somebody who's the president. But we don't do that with, mechanics of a lot of numbers or a lot of simulations or calculations running in the background. We're doing that through these RPG elements of choice and different reactions and your choices branching off and creating different storylines or like adjusting existing storylines. And that means that we want to create an experience that is approachable to a lot of people and that people can take and like kind of like think about, because our company's motto is thought-provoking entertainment. And Suzerain is just like a vision statement basically of that. Now, English is a language that in the games industry, it's the most prominent language. Stuff is changing in the market, and we have new languages that are slowly overtaking English. Are set to overtake English. But it is something where we can approach the most amount of people and make sure the message of the game and the experience can spread beyond the local market. The other reason is we didn't have the money to do a couple of languages. So, we just did English. So, And it kind of worked out, so we're happy. Obviously, if we have the resources for stuff that are, whenever like we have new stuff, we'd rather do, like think about this process a bit earlier and make sure languages are accommodated for. But yeah, that is the answer. So we are 30 minutes in, and let me briefly check if our sale is going on Steam, So yeah, those of you who have not seen it yet, or did not hear about it, Fellow Travelers publisher sale is on right now. It's live. We are with Suzerain at 25 off for the first time. We were only 20 off in periods. So yeah, and also a big shout out to Fellow Traveler. Fellow Traveler, we partnered with them in 2019, and we had a very good launch with them. And yeah, they have some amazing games. So very unique studios, creating unique ideas, and succeeding. And both creatively, which is like the most important thing, but also to be succeeding so much where they can live off of their creation, which is the main challenge of indie game development. Yeah, so yeah, the sale is on, and our bundle, the Fateful Hour bundle, is on as well. So if you want to check out similar cool games, you have The Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte, Yes Your Grace, and Suzerain, 3 games in the Fateful Hour bundle. So you get a very unique leadership style experience with these moral issues and these like hard choices, and yeah, so definitely have a look at the Fateful Hour bundle as well. Yeah, moving on, got some more questions. So let's check chat. Is there anything that comes up? Do you guys talk about politics in the office, or just keep politics to the game itself? Oh, there were a lot of discussion about politics when we were working on Suzerain. Before launch especially, where the last certain design elements were kind of being finished. Intense discussions about thoughts, about different perspectives. And since our team is like from different continents and different cultures, we have like a lot of different perceptions coming together and like creating this interesting debate and like thought, and really going to the details of these subjects. So we have like 5 different continents, 4 or 5 different continents, and 7 nationalities within the team. So yeah, love to see the intercultural communication and like different perspectives come together, because it gives you a better picture of what something is, because you have more angles to look at it. And also culture changes, perceptions change from area to area. So always recommend working with a team that is diverse and has different perspectives, but of course has the core vision. Yeah. Oh, somebody said, I checked the Discord for the Soul Cats. Please do not look that up. That is one image I will not be able to erase from my brain. Classic. Will you ever add a save system? The one right now just really discourages completion of a game at its fullest. For an example, if I want to change a single choice in the late game, I will have to replay all of the game through until the same dialogue, and then finally change the choice. That may not even be that important. I see where you're going for, but this isn't the type of game to do that. So here we really disagree, because we're all about choices matter. And as soon as everybody can just like reload back to the previous choice and play another route, it really takes away from that first important experience. And Suzerain is not made to be an infinitely replayable experience either. We don't recommend more than 2 playthroughs, because the game is just not designed to be this constantly replayable experience. Yes, it does offer many branches and many different ways to play, but the first experience will always be that unique thing and that unique life of Anton that you create and experience and end. And the player altering with every like section of it and then seeing every path is really destroying that like experience. So we did, design wise, we decided to do these Iron Man saves for a reason. Yeah, we did not want to give save access. But if you really like, if you really want to do it, you can manually do it through the documents. But save files only update after you finish a scene. So yeah, you can copy and do stuff. But yeah, that's another subject. So yeah, it's a design direction. We could still add stuff, but we want to stick to this direction. We don't want people to play too many times. I know people do play too many times, and thank you for playing our game this many times. But it is not what we're intended. Not what we've intended to do with it. So, yeah, appreciate it nonetheless, and we'll take that into account going into the future. Yeah, and yeah, there are definitely there's definitely the aspect of Suzerain where it feels like a bit more of a simulation from the outside, but it is not. It is at its core this role-playing experience that is about politics, that is about these characters and very like focused storyline. The more you simulate something and the more you make it a strategy, the less you have of that emotional connection. And you will know this from other games that you're playing or that you've looked into probably. And we really wanted to go for that emotional impact. Like we wanted people to remember these characters. We wanted people to like really have an emotional connection to these endings, these big choices. And if we had made it more of a strategy, we would have lost that, and that would go against our vision. Yeah, so that's like the deeper level of that question. I'll send a quick hearts out to everyone. Okay. So somebody wants a monocle. That's an interesting ask. Can't say anything about that, but I'll think about it. What question are you tired of being asked? This is a good one. I mean, so here comes the humble perspective is anybody taking their time of their day, of their busy day and all their struggles of life and everything to step aside and write to us, I want this, or like, what are you going to do about this, means that they care. And if you have people that care, that's like already a great thing. So I cannot be really tired of people who care about us. But we need to display some of our FAQ much better. It's like stuff about localization, for example. Like I've answered a couple of times. It already is in our FAQ, and yeah, like that's something that we will only update the community once there's a change in the situation. But yeah. In lore, how often does the president interact with assembly members? The game makes it seem like the working constitution is a special occasion. Working on a constitution is a special occasion since it was the first time Anton bothered to visit Gloria in her office. I mean, changing the constitution is a special occasion for any country. And yeah, some countries can do it quicker and all that stuff, but like in our lore, it is big because as you can tell, like it hasn't been changed in a while and all that stuff. But yeah, we don't go into detail about like the two layers of things. One is like how much internal assembly politics is going through, and like what are the details of the whips or whatever. Like whoever is like I mean, technically Gloria and Albin are kind of like whips of their own factions, and kind of you could see it like that, like wing leaders. But like yeah, we don't talk about these like inner workings. We're a bit more like top down in that aspect, in the political storyline expression. Oh yeah, and the other thing we don't talk about much is the local governance and local politics. And the thing is, it's out of the focus of the game. When you're simulating what a president experiences with all these big topics, and when you have, like, obviously it's always a resource question, you rather put the resources where it makes more sense, which is the most important characters, the most important decisions, and like really focus down on those. So yeah, the other stuff becomes like something in the backdrop as a support or misc lore and all those things. But I would say you would see your lieutenants in the assembly, like, you know, Albin, Gloria, maybe some others even, you know, some normal members that have a lot of like gravitas and a lot of influence. And you would talk to them, definitely. Like, Rain would be talking to some people for sure. And in Suzerain, I don't know, I don't know if people notice, but like it's a jump, like you jump from experience to experience, from moment to moment. And this is done because there are a lot of boring moments. And in being a president, there's a lot of, like, you know, bureaucracy and paperwork and, you know, a lot of talks that accumulate to something a year after. But we jump through like all of the boring stuff, and our design is focused on like these interesting, important stuff that makes sense, stuff that actually supports the design. So like we're just jumping from these important things. Otherwise, the game would have been like, you know, 100 hours of talking with like little choice, and then like 10 hours of decision making and like big moments, which is not fun. So. The chat is taken off. Nice. That's awesome. Glad to have you all here. Yeah, more questions. Let's go. We have... Did you have any major disagreements about the vision or direction Suzerain should take? What were they about and how were they resolved? Oof, this is a really good one. This is definitely for somebody who's been in part of similar processes, I can tell. Were there any major disagreements? I don't think that there were like major disagreements. There were disagreements for sure. There weren't many, like, you know, these like crossroad moments of like people like completely splitting in 50-50, and like being like, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that. Thing about our company is the co-founding team, we're close friends, and we have that friendship backing us up. And yes, we also run a business together, but it's a balance of two things that keeps us going. And it's been positive so far, and we got into this knowing about all the downsides of, you know, partnering up with your friends, but there were also a lot of upsides. So it's all about covering the weaknesses of it and optimizing the strengths of it. And one of the strengths of it is that you can have disagreements, and disagreements are just fine. With somebody you've known for a long time, you already have a lot of disagreements. You already have a lot of this stuff. So it's nothing major. And the other important thing is, like, having different voices matter, and having different ideas matter, and to listen to them and then to come to a conclusive solution and make a choice. This is the approach we've taken, and it's been really good because everybody has the perspective, everybody has their field, and it all comes together in something meaningful, and that's efficient. So yeah, I wouldn't say there was never like this, oh my god, like we have to go here, no, we have to go there. There was nothing like that. We all discussed it through, and in time we all came to a solution and decided all together. So yeah, the one thing about the vision I can say, though, the vision, not the vision, but the prototyping and the process. The game used to be very static and not reactive. A very like linear and classic visual novel approach. We went from that to the more RPG dialogue, faster, more reactive approach, and that was like a big shift from 2017 to 2018. I was very happy with that shift, and that's something we discussed to improve the quality and make it more engaging. The problem with our game is, like, I mean, it's not a problem, but there are not enough visuals to keep people engaged. And obviously, and our pipeline is very expensive. So with the resources we had, we decided, okay, we need to make the core text experience very smooth and good. So, you just keep on going. That's why the characters are like there and big, and like you see them and they become smaller or bigger when they talk. And you have this like smooth text scrolling, and then it's on your own pace. These are very little things, but like since that's the core of the game, it's very important. And we improved that quite drastically if you see old pictures. So there was a lot of iteration and improvement. Please send away your questions. Ask away. We have 10 or so more minutes. And then I'll have to go home and pack for Sweden, because we're going to that game collective that I've talked about. So it's going to be interesting. Please ask away anything you're curious about. And for those of you who've just joined in, Suzerain is on sale at 25 off. We got the Fellow Traveler Publisher sale with a lot of games on sale. And we got into the Faithful Hour bundle with Yes Sir Grace and The Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte. 2 other very cool games. Check them out. So questions-wise, let me have a look. Okay, we answered nearly all of them. Yeah, we answered all of these. Yes. Okay, was there something here? Okay, I think that's... Oh, yeah. So there are a couple of community events we're running sometimes. So right now there is one called Shit Suzerain Says, inspired by Crusader Kings. We're big CK fans at the team. So, we took that approach and we put it on Discord and also Reddit, where, you can just like talk about this in-lore stuff. And by the way, we love the memes. The quality memes are like the meme quality. Whenever it's good, it's good. Like it hits very well. Our hearts are touched by all the creative stuff that's going on, as well as our 3 contest winners. Pirida, who did the Swordish language.org, Swordish.org, amazing stuff with the language work. And we had Ingsong, I think Ingsog was their name, did the wiki of Swordland, and that was amazing. And DY did like some drawings of very cool art style of like our universe and some of the presidents. Thanks for all this stuff. That really is amazing. About saving, so somebody asked, the other community event is like, let me wrap that part up, is we're planning to do a fun Hoi 4 multiplayer event. Ideally, I would rather have something where there's a bit more like story and narrative and choices rather than just like warfare. We could maybe use a mod. It's not clear yet, but we're going to do a Hoi 4 multiplayer with the dev team. At least I have 1 or 2 dev team members in this summer. So we'll keep you updated on that. Just a fun session. And we'll probably get destroyed by pro Hoi 4 players. So Hearts of Iron 4 players. Can be really intense. So there were a couple of questions actually. During the development of Suzerain, what was the dev fuel? What was the most consumed snack, food, and drinks? The classic here will be coffee, obviously. Many beers were consumed as well, I have to say. After work. Never during work. Never. Come on. I think the most important feel, and this will hit right in the heart, was the passion we had for this game, this universe, and this project. That was the strongest feel. When the energy bar was low, and when there was stress, when there were those like deadlines, and all the stuff that goes into this crazy stuff that is game development, the vision, the passion, that was the feel that kept us going. And without that, we would have broken apart and we'd never release this. So, definitely when you want to work on something, the number one thing, for me at least, is a vision and a passion and a goal regarding that. Yeah. Some more stuff about saving Iron Man mode for achievements and non-arenas. Yeah, we will stick to the Iron Man mode for now. We might revisit the design of it later. About the achievements, yeah, we're very happy with the Steam achievements right now. We know that GOG and Epic are missing achievements. Another subject that's on our thought list. We will try to get to that sometime as well. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, last 6-7 minutes. Is there anything I can mention that is... Yeah, check out our monthly report for May. We got the teaser pictures. And I'll pull an interesting move right here. And I'll join the community with the memes. Just to put the person that really needs to be charged in the position they gotta be in. So yeah, it has to happen. And this is where I announce... Nah, I'm kidding. It's a pleasure to have you all around. And yeah, I cannot believe like what happened this year. And for those of you who don't know, we won the German Game Awards for the best expert game, which is like executing a niche very successfully and all that stuff, which was a shocker for us. We did not expect it. We were running like we were competing with bigger studios who did like Port Royal and Desperados. The jury loved Suzerain, and they thought we've done something really unique with it. It was an amazing moment for us. This is our first game. This is our studio's first game, and it's been just a few years since we've been founded. The journey has had an amazing start. Now it's all about knowing what we do good, going to the future, taking all this feedback and making the right choices, and hoping to build a company and brand and a set of games that really touch people emotionally and make people think about society and a lot of issues from a different perspective. Yeah. And Surge will lead us there with a good heart, a duty to their nation. No. Moss said, wanted to tell you guys both Suzerain and Life of Bronte demos were amazing. You guys really did a lot of work. Thank you. Oh yeah, thanks. Much appreciated. Yeah, if you have not dropped a review for Suzerain and you like it, please drop a review. It helps a lot. Yeah, that's an important thing. And if you have any feedback and thoughts, our Discord, our Steam is always there. You can reach out to us. We are very active. If you see any bugs, please report them. Take screenshots, upload your saves, help us out. It's so hard to find issues in a 450k 10-hour long ultimately branching experience. So if you see stuff, send it in the Discord server, and you can get into the Discord server by checking our website. There's a Discord link, or on the Steam forums on our discussions, you'll see a sticky thread, official Discord server. Yeah, and I try to respond to everything. We read everything, by the way, but it's hard to respond to everything. I'm doing my best. But yeah, you're heard, and yeah, really appreciate that. And a lot of talks about Surge. Serge is running for president next in 1958. Yeah. I guess that is about it. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy Suzerain at our lowest discounted price ever. 25 off. It's already a cheap game. So, but that's good. We want it to be approachable to a lot of people. So, and yeah, thanks for asking the questions. Thanks for being here. Thanks for caring. Hope Suzerain left an impact on you emotionally, or it provoked some thoughts in that line somewhere. And drop a review on Steam or any platform you've got it. That really helps us out. Yeah, was a pleasure having you all, and have a great summer. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll be here working hard, so we'll keep in touch. Take care. Bye.